Alright guys, so this video is going to be a little different because college applications just opened up last week, and I know that a lot of you guys are applying to colleges in the US. And before we kind of talk about tuition fee and living expenses, financial aid, all of those monetary values, it's important to consider that just applying to colleges in the US is a huge financial burden altogether. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact cost of applying to colleges that you and your parents are getting into. So let's get started. So let's talk about the college application fee. Now, let's say you guys apply to 10 colleges. Each college is roughly $70 just to submit your application, and that is $700 added just right then and there. Now, it's important to remember that even though you're applying to 10 colleges, you'll probably get rejected by some, and in the end, you're just going to pick one college, right? So this $700 that you're committing to is non-refundable, and it's a big expense altogether that you can easily avoid. Now, a lot of students don't know about this, but being an international student, also, you can apply for something called an application fee waiver, and I've made a whole video about this. I emailed a ton of colleges, including all the Ivy Leagues, and I kind of perfected how the application fee waiver should look like, and basically if it works or not, and it did. Now, you guys being students, you're not going to get this chance of applying to colleges again and again. It's a one-time thing. So if you're looking for a template that you can just right there use, you can check out the application fee waiver template at incognitoblueprints.com, which is currently at a discounted price. It's a step-by-step guidebook that takes you through the entire process of how you need to approach the application fee waiver, the email templates involved, and basically takes you through the entire process. Now, it's not a guarantee that by using this template you'll get the fee waiver, but if you're applying to multiple colleges, in my opinion, it's definitely worth it because just this one template can potentially help you save that $700. Number 2 on our list is the CSS Profile. Now, if you've been watching the last few videos, I've literally mentioned this in every single video. Now, the CSS Profile is your way of actually applying for financial aid, even as an international student. Now, the CSS Profile itself is not free because it's kind of like a separate application altogether. So you'll be submitting your CSS to each individual colleges in addition to your Common App. Now, there's a base fee of $25 for the first college and then $16 for any additional colleges you want to send your CSS profile to. So let's say you're applying to 10 colleges, that's $170 right there. Now, the CSS Profile doesn't have any sort of a fee waiver for international students, so unfortunately, you will have to commit to paying this fee. Now, in the last Harvard video, you guys absolutely blew the comment section with the request for a CSS step-by-step walkthrough video, and I promise I'm working on that, so that video is also coming very soon. Next on our list is standardized testing. Now, I know there's some negative stigma around this whole topic altogether because it's become optional in the last few years. Standardized testing means your SAT, ACT, GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, all that is kind of should you take it, should you not? But like we saw in the previous Harvard video, the common data set does indicate that even though colleges say that standardized tests are optional, if you give the test and you have a good score, they will consider this while making their admission decision. So if you're someone who's a good test taker, I'm not. But if you are someone who can, study for this test and potentially get a good score, I would highly recommend going for it. It can definitely boost your application and potentially help you get that admit. But coming to the numbers, the SAT or the ACT will cost you somewhere between $250 to $300. And the way that it works is when you give the exam, right after giving the exam, the website allows you to send your score to 4 or 5 colleges for free. And then any additional colleges that you want to send your SAT or ACT score to is $10 to $12 of an extra fee. So if you want to send it to 5 more colleges, maybe $50. So I know it's a small expense, but it definitely does add up. Another standardized test that you're looking at as an international student is potentially some sort of English proficiency test like TOEFL or IELTS. If you've done your high school in an English medium setting, which means that your report cards, your transcripts, your board exam certificates, everything is in English, you may not even have to give this English proficiency test at all. But if you end up in a situation where you have to write this test, you're looking at somewhere between $160 to $180 depending on what type of test you're giving. Now, for my graduate subscribers, the GRE test, which you'll probably be giving, would cost you about $200, and I'm not going to add that amount to this list, but you can kind of replace that in place of SAT or ACT. Now, up until this point, if you're applying to 10 colleges, you have spent close to $1,400. Now in Indian rupees, that's over 1 lakh rupees, and I haven't even finished my list yet. Now the reason that I'm kind of making such a big deal out of this whole amount is not to scare you guys, but to make you realize that it's a big financial commitment and you haven't even been accepted into a college yet. So you really need to be smart about the way you're spending your money, because there are places where you can potentially save, like the application fee waiver. Now, the next point that I want to talk about, and this is kind of like the last expense on the list, will be your miscellaneous expenses. These include things like study material. So if you're giving your SAT, ACT, or your English proficiency, you'll be buying some sort of books. Now, these books, each book can cost anywhere between $50 to $100 each. Now, I would recommend that if you're giving the SAT or ACT, buy one guidebook that you use like a reference book, and everything else is available for free online. You can find practice papers online, you can find tutorials online. There are a ton of YouTube videos. Khan Academy has a lot of them. Like, use those resources. Now, when it comes to TOEFL and IELTS, a lot of this prep material is available online. For example, on the ETS website, you can find all of the TOEFL prep material that you'll require, from like references to sample papers to section-wise tests. So don't spend any extra money looking for like books or tutors. I just feel like it's repetitive information and you should be doing this on your own. Now, finally, there's one last expense, and this is kind of optional, but I see a lot of students taking this route. If you're applying to 10 colleges, you're looking at writing anywhere between 20 to 30 different essays, combining your personal essay plus all of the supplemental essays. Now, if you come across a service that goes along the lines of "will write your essays for you," it sounds wrong. It's because it is wrong and it's illegal. It's completely unethical to have somebody else write your college essays, and you just don't want to be that person. It's not going to get you anywhere. And let's say that those essays somehow help you get to like the next stage. If there's an interview round, you're definitely not going to get through, because they're going to see right through the fact that the essays and the person just don't match up. So the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you're writing your own essays. But if you do come across an essay review service, that's something that you should be taking advantage of. Now, the point of the essay review is that you have a professional who takes a look at your essay. They're not trying to change the story or tell you that it's complete crap, but basically they're refining it, making sure that the storyline flows together, making sure that there aren't any grammatical errors, and basically putting it all together and polishing it up so that it tells your story better. Now, it's important to note that the voice of the essay still needs to be yours. And I see a lot of services out there on the internet that charge like $400, $500 per review. And it's insane. I mean, imagine spending that amount of money just for one review. Now, if you guys are looking for any essay review options, I would highly recommend Incognito Blueprints. The essay reviews are $100 to $200 each, but the good thing is the review is in such a way that they give you some constructive feedback and comments on your essay through like a shared Word document, and they have a one-on-one meeting with you to understand where you're having trouble, to understand your story, and to make sure that what's important to you stays important in your essay. But on the other hand, if you're someone who hasn't even started writing your essays, like, you really need to hurry up. College applications have opened, and if you're looking for like a template to help you get started, Incognito Blueprints also provides essay templates for undergrad students, master's students, and PhD students. This template actually includes sample essays from students who have been accepted into Ivy League universities. It includes a step-by-step process of what you need to write in your essay, as well as exercises and like a guide that helps you brainstorm and bring out different stories that you could potentially write about. All of these templates are at affordable prices, less than $50. So if you need help getting started, I would definitely recommend that. So that brings up to the end of our cost list, and right now we are at $1,500 to $1,600 roughly in just application altogether. Now, just, at this point, if you're still watching, don't shut the video and just be like, well, I'm not going to apply, it's super expensive. That's not the point of why I made the video. But instead, you could probably show this video to your parents and show them this extensive breakdown, so that even if they're committing to applying to colleges for you, they know where this money is going. And it's better to be informed and you know what you're getting into. Now, while applying to colleges abroad is expensive, we also have to take into consideration that countries like the US, Canada, and UK have some of the highest return on investment, which means that students that graduate from colleges in these countries secure some of the most highest paying jobs. And that's what you're investing into. This is the start of you investing into your educational and career goals. So as long as you're informed and you know what you're getting into, that is the best way that you can approach this whole admission process and this whole study abroad journey. So last week when I uploaded the Harvard video, in the first 2 or 3 days, it didn't do so well. In fact, it was kind of like number 10 on my channel and people really weren't watching it. Could have been one of the reasons that you guys had your board exams and you didn't get a chance to watch the video when I uploaded it. And I went out and made a community post. Now, in the past, I've kind of been a little reluctant on actually speaking up when I'm upset or if something's bothering me. But I just want to let you guys know that after I put that community post out, the video has been performing so well. I don't know if it's because you guys saw the post and a lot of you guys went ahead and watched it. There have been so many comments in that community post altogether, just motivating me and telling me that, you know, the videos have been super helpful to you guys. And I haven't been able to respond to all of them individually, but I do want to let you guys know that it has made a difference. Like the Harvard video has now been number 3 on trending on the channel. It's gotten over 10,000 views in the last 2 or 3 days, which is absolutely insane. Whether you rewatched it or put it on mute and let it play in the background, or if you're a viewer who saw that community post and watched it, like, to all of you guys, like a huge thank you. Now I hope that this love continues on the upcoming videos and it really does keep me motivated. So, you know, make sure that the videos perform well, but if it doesn't and there's something bothering me about it, I won't shy away from telling you guys about it now that, you know, I know that the community is so open to, you know, listening just random and candid thoughts that I have. Even I'm not motivated and happy all the time, right? But that's all that I had for this video. Up next, we have, you know, a ton of videos on the Road to Success series, more on the CSS profile, a Common App walkthrough if you guys want that. The channel is here to help you guys out, so definitely drop those suggestions in the comments. And like the video if you're watching till this point, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.